shifting gears, if I handed you $500,000, what would you go out and buy right now in Chicago?
You know, if you gave me $500,000 to spend, I would probably look at a 70s, 80s building in the Gold Coast and buy a condo with some great views in stellar location. Or I'd look at some of the co-ops in the Gold Coast, because there's some tremendous values for space for the price. And if you want to be walking distance to everything, I think it's perfect.
Thad?
This is an easy one because I was walking my dogs late last night and I got the feed on the search, and there was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,450 square foot townhome on the 1600 block of Orchard for $600,000. I always go over budget, so I'm a little bit over budget, but that is enough space to raise a family. You can have 3, 4, 5 people in that townhome. It's in the #1 public school elementary district in Chicago. And there is no city, I don't think, in America that's desirable to live in like Chicago, where you can get that much house, that much bang for your buck, and still send your kids to a great school. So all day and night. And I also think from an appreciation perspective, having a product that can house more people close to public transportation and good schools is a blue chip.
Sure. Certainly a lot of options out there in that $500,000 price range.
It's unbelievable, actually, in the city of Chicago, how much you can get for $500,000 in comparison to Manhattan, LA, San Francisco, even Dallas and Houston. We're a bargain.
Yeah, well, I was looking at suburbs too. North Shore, you can buy a nice house in Wilmette for $500,000, walking distance from the train.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's some great values out there. If you're going to go to the suburbs, Wilmette with their school districts is really affordable in some areas.
Sure. All right. Now you get to spend a little bit more money. $5 million. What are you going to buy?
$5 million.
I know what I'd buy. There is a vintage house on, I believe, the 1400 block of Astor. It's on a double lot. It's a beautiful home, and the courtyard garden area is fabulous. Now the home would need a massive renovation, so if I'm capped at $5 million, I would have to go to the bank and probably draw on another $2 million to completely remodel the home. But then you would have a 10,000 square foot masterpiece with its own fabulous garden on one of the most historic blocks in the city of Chicago, across the street from the beach, and in an incredibly safe area where when you walked out your door to walk your dog, you'd be looking at some of the best architecture in the city.
Now, we have seen, several instances of vintage Gold Coast mansions where the owner, paid several $1,000,000, put a couple $1,000,000 into it, and sold it at a loss.
You don't buy trophy properties to make money. You almost always lose on those purchases. Those purchases are for self-fulfillment, enjoyment, or ego, whatever you want, but they are not investments. They are self-fulfilling investments in yourself to enjoy on your own while you're here on the planet.
Noted.
Yeah, that's worth it. Sometimes you got to do that for yourself.
Sure.
I've been known not to do that very often.
Mike, $5 million.
So in the vein of trophy properties, I would probably end up buying a house on the lake in GLENCOE, Highland Park, maybe Winnetka, but to get into that $5 million price range, there are some great pieces of property in GLENCOE and Highland Park where you can get a decent amount of land. You may end up paying a little less than $5 million, but put some money into the house. But then you're sitting on the lakefront. They're not making any more of it, I think that location, views, everything is perfect.